According to the National Geographic, ocean plastic is estimated to kill millions of marine animals and seabirds every year. And scientists predict that by 2050, plastic will outweigh the number of fish in the entire ocean. Plastics often break down into smaller and smaller particles, called microplastics, which can be ingested by both animals and people and remain in our environment for hundreds of years or longer. Here are a few helpful tips on how you can help stop the tide on plastic pollution. Tip 1. Bring reusable bags when grocery shopping. Tip 2. Avoid using plastic straws or use reusable straws when having a drink. Tip 3. Drink from a reusable water bottle instead of buying individual bottles. Tip 4. Tell your friends and family about the effects of single-use plastics. You can help reduce the amount of single-use plastics by spreading the word and going green. For more information and to take the pledge, visit reduceyourusetambabay.org.
Don't let mosquitoes ruin your day. Fight the bite by removing standing water on your property. Standing water of any kind is a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Do your part and help reduce the mosquito population.
Visit hcfl.gov/fightthebite. Tampa Bay is like no place else.
Wait, you can't recycle the bag. You have to throw it away.
Proper recycling keeps it that way for everyone. Bags tangle in machinery and can bring sorting efforts to a halt.
No bags.
Trash the bags and keep our recycling program moving forward.
No, Mom, look. No plastic bags.
Do your part to keep our recycling bag-free. Trash the tanglers or return them to participating retailers. For more information, visit tampabayrecycles.org.
Everyone, I'd like to call at this time to order the Executive Committee meeting for the County Public Safety Coordinating Council for April the 19th. of 2024. Ms. Nappy, ma'am, if we could have roll call.
Good morning. Miss Julie Holt,
Here.
Sheriff Chad Cronister,
Colonel Robert, you're up for Sheriff Cronister.
Chief Judge Sabella. Here. Miss Cindy Stewart. Judge Rich.
Here.
Miss Lopez. Here. Commissioner Cepeda. Present. Chief Burkaw.
Deputy Calvin Johnson here for Chief Burkaw.
Mr. Nick Bates.
Present.
Mr. Mark Proctor.
Here.
And Mr. Rob Parkinson.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. In your packet are the minutes of our September 15th, 2023 Executive Council meeting. If you would please review the minutes and if we can have an appropriate motion.
So moved.
Move to approve by State Attorney Lopez, second by Nick Bates. Is there any discussion on the motion? Does anyone see any corrections or additions or deletions that need to be made to the minutes that are being proposed for approval? All in favor of the motion to approve, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, like sign? Thank you. We do not have any old business. We do have several items under the new business, and they're going to be presented by Mr. Parkinson. So, Mr. Parkinson, if you would just take each of those items one at a time.
Thank you, Ms. Holt. Many of you are aware that Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office assumes responsibility for providing misdemeanor probation services under Chapter 948 for the Salvation Army, or from the Salvation Army in 2015. During that time, the sheriff has consistently met the operational requirements outlined in his contract with the Board of County Commissioners. The current contract expires on September 30th of this year, and the sheriff has indicated that he is willing to continue to provide those services for the county. The Board of County Commissioners has historically sought feedback and support from the PSCC prior to executing the agreement with HCSO, and I'm seeking that now.
Mr. Parkinson, obviously we're in the executive committee aspect of the coordinating council. Is that going to be sufficient for the Board of County Commission as opposed to having to save this for the full council meeting?
That is a good question. Statutorily, the primary people that need to be in support of this are the state attorney, the chief judge, and the public defender, and they are all here today.
I do see them all here today.
Yes. So that would be sufficient for our purposes.
Does anyone have any questions of Mr. Parkinson, or does anyone want to have any type of information provided by Colonel Ura as it relates to the services that are presently being provided by the Sheriff's Office as it relates to misdemeanor probation? Mr. Proctor, sir, and then Ms. Lopez.
I'll just make a quick comment that I'm old enough to remember back when the Salvation Army did this and the Sheriff's Department took it over, and it was tremendous, the transitional aspect of that, and it's been a very good program.
Ms. Lopez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question was only going to be about the cost of the supervision. I know that has been previously been a topic of conversation, and so I would just ask if Mr. Parkinson has any information about that.
So yes, the contract that the county has with the sheriff's office is to meet the statutory authorities, because technically misdemeanor probation is a county responsibility that we have delegated to the sheriff's office. The contract ties the cost of supervision to the administrative order from the chief judge. So as the chief judge increases or decreases that cost, it's automatically incorporated into the contract.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess that begs the question, Chief Judge, has there been any indication to you that the Sheriff's Office is going to seek to increase in any fashion the cost of supervision?
I haven't heard anything.
And Colonel Aurora says that there is no indication that the cost of supervision will be increased. So any other questions? And if not, if we can have an appropriate motion, that is, yes, Colonel.
As a matter of point, on the existing contract, the only amendment that the Sheriff's Office is seeking is at the point of contact is a predecessor of mine. If it just changes from Colonel Melissa Moore to mine, I think the contract can stay and be renewed as written.
So we have revised and have a draft operational one that's already been through county attorney for legal review. The request that I received from the sheriff's office was to remove the specific name of the colonel and say Colonel of Detention Services. We can certainly keep the draft that we have now. That way, I mean, I've been around all 9 years, but we've been through a number of colonels that have progressed back and forth. So, so we've already done that.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? Anyone wish to make a motion? Motion to approve. A motion to approve the misdemeanor probation services agreement for renewal purposes for 2025 through 2028 by Clerk Stewart. Is there a second? A second by, okay, a second by our commissioner that is sitting here with us today. Any discussion on the motion? Okay. All in favor of the motion to approve the probation services agreement renewal, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, like sign. Thank you. Mr. Parkinson, next.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Next item is the Federal Justice Assistance Grant, 2025 through 2028. The county is currently going through its triennial concept paper process for federal justice assistance grants. We anticipate having approximately about $150,000 a year over the next 3 years to spend on justice system-related projects that address the following JAG priority areas: law enforcement programs, prosecution and court programs, including indigent defense, prevention and education programs, correction and community corrections programs, drug treatment programs, planning, evaluation, and technology programs, crime victim and witness programs, mental health programs and related law enforcement and corrections programs, including behavioral programs and crisis intervention teams, implementation of crisis intervention court proceedings and related programs or initiatives, including mental health courts, drug courts, veterans treatment courts, and extreme risk protection order programs. Application for the funding are due to the county on May 17th by 5 p.m. Upon receipt of the applications, the Criminal Justice Office, my office, will request that Judge Rich convene the Justice Assistance Grant Review Committee of the PSCC to receive a brief presentation from each submitting agency and subsequently make recommendations for funding. Any questions regarding the process of eligible projects may be submitted to Ms. Felicia Richardson with the county, 813-276-8336, or richardsonf@hillsboroughcounty.org. Now, as is customary, we did a press release on this, so it's on the county's website, and we also have a number of listservs that we've been sending out all week, including the Hillsborough Ex-Offender Reentry Alliance, constitutional offices, and any interested party that we've had involved in the past. So the amount of money is based on current year's funding. That could go up, it could go down, depending on what happens in Washington.
Thank you. And so those of you that sit on the committee, you'll be contacted by Mr. Parkinson's office and or Judge Rich when they schedule the meeting. Sometimes it's a little bit on short notice, but we would certainly ask that you accommodate the date that is provided, please. Any questions of Mr. Parkinson?
And again, I appreciate Judge Rister's effort here, understanding that the timelines imposed on us are externally imposed, and we don't always have a say on how and when these dollars come through, or when Washington expects us to submit the documentation. So I realize a month is not a long time, but it's a timeline we had to adhere to if we want the money.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Parkinson, then the Baker Act Receiving System Transportation Plan Renewal.
Absolutely. Under Chapter 394, the Florida Mental Health Act, and Chapter 397, the Marchman Alcohol and Other Drug Services Act, and Senate Bill 12 from 2016, each county is required to develop a receiving system and transportation plan describing how individuals experiencing behavioral health crisis are provided access to emergency services. Hillsborough's current plan will expire in 2025. Representatives from Central Florida Behavioral Health Care Network, which is our managing entity for behavioral health services, and the county are facilitating work groups to update the plan in accordance with changes in state law and local practices. Those interested in participating may reach out to Ms. Karen Barfield with Central Florida Behavioral Health Care Network. She can be reached at 813-455-8084 or Kay Barfield at centralfloridabehavioralhealthcarenetwork.org. And I'll be sending those numbers and contact information to Ms. Nappy for distribution. On completion of the revised draft plan, Ms. Barfield will actually attend our November 17th full council meeting to brief the council on any changes and get their support moving forward. After the council vets it, the county's Behavioral Health Task Force and Healthcare Advisory Board will give their blessing, and then it will be presented to our Board of County Commissioners for final approval before it's sent to Tallahassee. Again, this is something that we've been required to do since Senate Bill 12 passed in 2016. This will be our second renewal for this plan. It's a very comprehensive document that includes things like jail diversion for mental health clients, the resources that we have in mental health court and drug court, that sort of thing. So it's a great document for somebody dropping in from another community or another state and wanting to learn how are people with behavioral health disorders treated within the system. This document will articulate that. Many of you have staff that attend other meetings that are also looking at this, the acute care meeting, behavioral health task force, and I would advocate for you to have them continue to participate and engage in it, because it's vitally important that your organizations make sure that their new programming is incorporated into this plan. So one example is TPD has done a lot with first responder behavioral health of late, and that is not mentioned anywhere in the plan because we're 3 years in the rear now. So making sure that those revisions and those updates are brought forward in the plan are going to be key.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Mr.
You're
Parkinson. The last item under new business is to discuss what agenda items we would like to have for our full council meeting, which is on May 17th of 2024. Mr. Parkinson, I'm assuming that you'll have the JAG concept at that point that you'd like to discuss?
I should.
Any other items that that anyone can think of at this point that you'd like to have on the agenda? I'm sure something will develop between now and May, but anything anyone wants to discuss? Okay. All right, Ms. Nappy, we'll work together to try and develop an agenda that's capturing what might happen between now and that date, okay? Thank you. Is there any other business at this time? We then do have several individuals that, I'm sorry, Ms. Stewart.
Real quick, our next full council meeting is May 17th. When, after that date, when is the next full council meeting?
November?
November. So it might be appropriate for me to bring you a data share update in May, because hopefully by November, we'll be completed.
Well, and congratulations, I know you did a recent cutover, and you did it over the holiday weekend, and it, well, at least from my standpoint as the public defender, we thank you, because from our end, it went well. We were able to handle the entire weekend first appearance court with no difficulty whatsoever, and we were back in business fully and completely when we came back to work on Monday, so congratulations to you and your staff.
Thank you.
All right, we do have several individuals that have signed up for public comment. Just as an FYI, at this time, it is 8:43. This meeting is scheduled to adjourn at 9:30, and so I would just ask you among yourselves to determine what time you want to give to each other to speak. Usually there's a limitation of 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not sure that the 45 minutes that we have left will be sufficient for everyone that I see present, but keep that in mind as you are making your comments. Is there anyone that is a spokesperson for the group that would like to give me an idea of what timing you would like for me to keep track of? You're up first? Okay, so 3 minutes. And what we'll need for you to do is please just identify yourself for the record. Obviously, this is being not only recorded, but it will be, again, shown to the public. So if you could identify yourself.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Laurie Jones Saluku from Bible-Based Fellowship Church in Carrollwood, a member congregation of Hope. We held a community meeting on Tuesday evening where over 1,100 community members convened, and we're here to speak on their behalf. We're here today because we're concerned about criminal charges for misdemeanor traffic offenses, specifically offenses related to specifically offenses not related to traffic safety concerns like driving while license is suspended due to financial hardships. According to the data from the state attorney's office, around half of all misdemeanor cases are traffic offenses, with 10,000 or so being for driving while license is suspended. And also, according to the state attorney's website, criminal charges for driving while license is suspended, or DWLS, is the biggest poverty trap. Charges for these offenses lead people to losing their jobs, their housing, and community connections, and getting further into debt. Further, the website says many licenses suspensions are not related to traffic safety at all. Instead, they are the result from the inability to pay civil fines and fees. Because of this, people are trapped in a vicious cycle of driving without a license so they can earn money to reinstate their license. It puts otherwise law-abiding citizens into the criminal justice system because of financial hardship. This is counterproductive, wasteful, and undermines public safety. We believe people need to be held accountable. We also believe that branding people for life for clerical issues, financial hardships, or just being overwhelmed and unorganized with just daily life, as it says on the state attorney's website, it is counterproductive, wasteful, and undermines public safety. We at Hope believe offering pre-arrest diversion for non-safety misdemeanor traffic offenses is a way to put people on the right path, help get their license reinstated, connect them to services or a payment plan while avoiding a criminal record and potential loss of housing, job, and livelihood. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
The next speaker that has signed up is Sherry Henley.
Good morning. I'm Sherry Henley from St. Mark's Episcopal Church, a member of Congregation of Hope. We are here today because Scripture calls us to act. In Proverbs 31:8, we find these words: "Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed." Thousands in our community are being crushed by the weight of poverty, crushed by ever-mounting fines and fees, crushed by the burdens of having a driver's license suspended, crushed by the consequences of being branded for life with criminal records. One man of our membership had a ticket for a burnt-out taillight that he couldn't afford to pay. This suspended his license, and he was ultimately arrested and spent a day in jail. Another woman shared how there was a clerical issue with her son's insurance payment, and his license was suspended. He did a rolling stop at the corner from around their house. He was stopped, he was handcuffed in front of his family and neighbors and taken to jail. Another man was handcuffed and taken to jail for driving with a suspended license with his daughter sleeping in the back seat of his car. He didn't know it was suspended. He was on his mom's insurance, and there was a clerical issue he didn't know about. My friend was arrested for shoplifting as a teenager, has not reoffended, and 15 years later, it's still hard to find stable employment. He currently is driving to Manatee County for his job. As you all know, getting involved in the criminal justice system can lead to a downward spiral. In fact, research shows that if you are arrested, your likelihood to reoffend is 45%. When given a pre-arrest diversion, as we see with the successful APAD program we have, recidivism is between 2 and 4%. We believe offering pre-arrest diversion for non-safety, misdemeanor traffic offenses is a way to put people on the right path, help get their license reinstated, connect them to services or a payment plan, while avoiding a criminal record and potential loss of housing, job, and livelihood. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
The next speaker is Chris Kravitz.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Pastor Chris Kravitz. I serve both Waters Avenue Church and Bayshore Baptist Church, both of whom are member congregations of Hope. As we've said, we believe people should be held accountable for actions, but we also want to avoid lifelong criminal records because nobody should be branded for life for being too poor to pay fines and fees or for simple paperwork problems. We believe Hillsborough County's successful APAD program is a potential tool for this. It can be built on to divert more people from the criminal justice system. APAD reduces recidivism, increases public safety, protects people's livelihoods, but we understand that other misdemeanor traffic offenses have been included that are under state law as crimes, trespassing, petty theft, etc. You have all decided that those are offenses that can be included in pre-arrest diversion. And Florida Highway Safety and Motor Vehicle have let us know that local jurisdictions can decide which criminal traffic offenses they want to include in APAD as well. We've heard some decision makers feel it's a threat to public safety to release people caught driving while license is suspended. However, as it stands currently, most people caught driving with a suspended license receive a misdemeanor criminal traffic citation and are released at the scene because they have been deemed not to be a threat to public safety. So whether it's criminal traffic citations, notices to appear, or physical arrest, we believe there is a way to divert people from all of those, whether that's expanding APAD or creating some other pre-arrest diversion altogether. There is a way to do it. Several of you, even in this room, have shared that you know it's a problem and that you would like to see APAD expanded or some kind of pre-arrest diversion put into place around these non-safety driving issues. Where there's a will, there's a way is something that we all said together the other night, and we're urging you to come together, you in this room, and the rest of the council in May, right? To find that will and to find that way together. And we would particularly love to hear from Sheriff Chronister on how he can provide leadership moving forward so that our community can be a safer and more just place to live together. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last speaker that signed up is Gabriel Morgan.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for this public comment opportunity. I'm Reverend Dr. Gabriel Morgan of St. Paul Lutheran Church. I actually am the chair of a different committee within Hope. We do care for creation related stuff, but I'm proud of all the work that our organization does on various justice issues, and I'm here to add my voice this morning. I can't improve upon the comments that you've already heard, so I'll keep mine more brief. But I have to say I've watched over the years with considerable puzzlement at the state that things are currently at on this issue. We're talking about a program that the sheriff can already be proud of, being implemented on yet another issue that is clearly a matter of justice for people who are financially burdened. This sort of idea that there is some kind of significant safety risk when notice to appears already have a set of procedures for how you're going to deal with a situation with a suspended license when you don't physically arrest someone on site. All is being asked is that the pre-arrest diversion be applied in cases like that so a person doesn't have a long-term record. I really don't understand what's unreasonable about this request or why our organization is being treated as if we're some kind of, trouble in society or like causing all kind of personal havoc for the sheriff when it's an eminently reasonable request that we're making. So I'm here to add my voice to the rest of my organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Although no one else has signed up, is there anyone else that would like to comment? Well, on behalf of the council, we thank you all for coming here today. We appreciate you making the comments that you've made. Members of the council, any discussion that you would like to initiate at this time as it relates to the comments that we've heard from the public? Ms. Stewart.
Ms. Holt, in light of the comments that were made regarding license reinstatements, I just want to reiterate, today is the last day for the On the Road Again program, which specifically addresses D6 suspended licenses. My office runs a program that is state mandated this week. It has been running all week. We waive collection fees for the entire week, and we are able to put people on a payment plan so they don't have to pay the entire fee and fine that is due, but they are able to get their driver's license reinstated. Now, if they fall off that payment plan, they obviously go back to a D6 suspended status. But today is the last day for that, and we are taking people at the window, no registration necessary until 5 o'clock.
Any other comments? Any other discussion? So, Mr. Kravitz, sir, could you approach for a moment? If I understand what Hope is asking for, what they want is us to consider, as the stakeholders, an expansion of APAD.
Yes.
Number one, as a possibility, or to create a separate pre-arrest diversion program. Is this only focused on driving while license suspended charges, or are there other charges that Hope believes are appropriate?
So we would love to see all non-safety related driving offenses in pre-arrest diversion. We do focus on driving with suspended license because of the amount of those that we see each year, between 10 and 12,000 are what we've been given from the clerk of court. If there are other non-safety related driving offense misdemeanors that the council considers to be able to be put into pre-arrest diversion, that would be absolutely amazing, because the more people that can have second chances and the fewer people branded for life with criminal records, the better it's going to be for everybody.
Okay. And obviously this is focusing on our adult program.
Yes.
Is there any request that there be any consideration of any type of other programs, such as a juvenile program at all?
We have not been focusing on the juvenile program recently, because it has been very successful, the expansions that have been made. And in fact, it expanded, it seems, at a much quicker rate than the adult program has been expanded.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Then Mr. Proctor moves that we adjourn our meeting. Thank you all very much for attending today, and we look forward to your attendance at our next meeting. Thank you all very much.